Hey everybody, welcome to tonight's stream. I'm probably going to be trying to stream this all through the week of November. We'll see what happens. Not the week, the month. Fuck, already. But anyways, I'm going to try to do National Novel Writing Month live, so you can watch the trash that I produce live. I don't know if I'll read it back after the night is over with or not, but whatever. I have this idea. We're going to try to run with it. These are the notes that I have with a rough idea and an outline, and hopefully we'll figure it out as we go along. If you have any questions or anything, and you want me to answer them about writing or whatever, feel free to ask. If I look up and I see it, it's gonna, I'm gonna be sidetracked anyways because you don't sit down and fucking write everything almost immediately. But yeah, that's what we're gonna do. Um, so yeah, um, let's go ahead and get this started. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to work on um I'm doing a space pulp this year. I'm doing some kind of like I'm basing it on some cheesy space routing. So that's where we're gonna go with that. Um, and then we'll see how far I make it. Let's hope I make it far, but we'll see. I get the right music for this though. Mm, no, I don't think so. Um, Yep. Hey Madison, you stupid bitch. I hope you're doing well. I hate you. This is National Novel Writing Month. So I'm writing, normally I just write the 1,000. Let's see how much it is actually, so I can know. I usually just write the amount, like I try to write a novel in a month. And then I post it on a blog somewhere or whatever. And this time I've decided just to do it on here, so I can get my streaming in and go from there. So I have to write 1,667 words today. So this one is a it's just about, it's like a take on space trash. So that's what I'm doing. Halfway there today. Well, not, yeah, halfway. I saw that on both of those. They said Moria is kind of shitty. Apex, I tried out the new Legend. She seems okay. I just tried it out. I haven't played that much. I did one match. If you get either one, let me know how it is. The Moria game or Harry Potter? I mean, it says it's for the Xbox X series. Does that help? Do not. That's fucking wrong. Oh, it's just it's called Replicant Dreams. It's usually based on anytime that you want this type of music, you just look up Blade Runner vibes, and that's usually what it gives you. It's based off of what you would think Blade Runner sounds like. Hey Colbert, how's it going? Just to explain what's happening, uh, I am in doing something called National Novel Writing Month. Every day of the month you write 1,667 words on an idea. This is the idea, and you try to make a novel about it. So that's what I'm trying to do. We'll see if it works. See how long I can keep this up. Because sometimes I think I've succeeded twice. So we'll see if I succeed this time. Congratulations, man! I'm really glad to hear that. Very happy for you. I hope that your streaming goes even better and better. You know. You gotta fill it up, Madison. And yeah, man, it's hard to get there. I mean, it's hard to keep streaming as well. I mean, it's one of those things where I just can't. Like, you get disheartened real quick. Well, I'm glad that you feel that way, and she'll be happy to hear the same thing, man. Yeah, Courtney wanted me to tell you congratulations as well, Colbert. I just told her the good news. That seems like a better deal, actually. Okay, so for today, that is 2,309 words. Let's go ahead and put that in National Novel Writing Month real quick. Let's see here. Update. What did I say? 2,309. 2,309. How did I feel writing it? Was at home. Wasn't okay. Started an hour and 24 minutes ago. We'll just do that. All right. So we're 5% done. Now we need only 50,000 more. That pushes me up a little bit, you know. So tomorrow I should have a total of 3,333. Probably what I'm gonna do is let's see. I have a few characters on here. I have Alden's crew. I have Astrid Nova. I don't know who I'm gonna do next, but we'll start chapter 2 there, you know. Now, and we'll figure it out tomorrow. For right now, that'll be good. Okay, so probably will read this through real quick to see what it sounds like, and then we'll call it a night. Because I'm drinking wine, and it feels good. Let's see. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and lower this music down because I can't hear myself think. We'll go from there. Anyways, Alden Almarak Lennook sat in his retrieval ship adrift in dead space, waiting for the right moment. Right then, as he sat in the captain's seat of the small single-person ship called the Retriever, if any of the security of the Galactic Coalition had been scanning the asteroid junk belt that encircled V4, they would have not had any alerts that a ship or anything living lie in wait. Most pilots that navigated the void most of their lives knew the trick of powering down all of the systems but those needed to start the chase would have executed a basic heat scan that would have alerted even the oldest of systems that Alden's and his ship were near. Time would have been against him, and even before he had activated his shields for defense, he would have been evaporated from space and time. But as luck would have it, the target he had been waiting for was either fresh or in a hurry. Neither mattered to Alden. If they were ignorant of his presence until he wished them to be, then so be it. Inside his ship, all the displays were black, except for the green glow of a single terminal that had the status of his emergency oxygen, and the tracking systems that was starting the process of locking onto the new ship navigating through the dense asteroid belt. If it were anyone else sitting in the chair of the tiny ship, they would have been wearing a thick spacesuit to combat the incoming cold. They would have been still been shivering, but not Alden. Instead, he had stripped himself to the waist and pulled a thick mastodon's fur over him. It was the last animal he had slain before leaving his tribe for the stars. He waited motionless, his breath coalescing into mist as it left his lips. Then the ship, a small D-class cruiser, came into range, and as he reached out and rested his hand on a single switch that would set in motion all the automated programs to restart his engines, oxygen supply, and Western systems. That's when thoughts of his father came to mind, and he looked at the ancient spear that had been handed to each of his ancestors until it came to him, the last of his tribe. When he was 13, the time had come for him to begin the hunt with the rest of his people. His father had awakened him before the sun rose on his homeland's icy plains. He led him to the edge of the ice where 4 boats with hunters waited. He did like the rest of them and stripped down to only his pants, gathered a fur to throw over his shoulders, and they slid off in the ice into the black, still ocean. When you hunt, his father had said, you must be alert. Let the cold keep you that way. The green runes began flashing, alerting him that he had a few more minutes before his target was out of range, and he would lose his chance of surprise. A D-class cruiser would have enough people on it that he would make a hefty sum, taking their belongings. Most of the time, the smaller ships would have the filthy rich set on getting into space where nothing they did was recorded. And if he could get them into the middle of their deeds, he could get some blackmail money. It'd allow him to keep his ship in the sky a little longer. The first day out in the ocean, they had moved through the smooth water without seeing any living thing on the icy islands or surfacing for air. Alden had grown impatient and hungry. He knew that if they didn't find something soon, they would have to turn back, and the village would have to eat on the reserves for another day. That is when below him he watched a dark shape begin to rise into the surface of the water. He had clicked his tongue twice to alert those around him that the potential target that he had found. Each of the boats slowed, and the spearmen all signified with hand signals that the target had been spotted. That day, no one would make a move before Alden. Today, he was to bloody his spear and become part of his tribe fully. He stood up, spreading out his feet to ensure that he would not tumble when he threw. The shadow below them grew and grew, and he hefted his spear into the air, pulled in the cold air through his nose and into his chest. His father's hand touched his elbow, and his voice came out in a whisper. Alden could feel his temper rise. This was to be his moment, and his father was trying to stop him. He turned to say something to his father, but saw that in his eyes were filled with something that caused him to pause. That's got to be fixed later. He turned back to watch the shadow grow larger than the boats themselves, as one of the spiked wells that they had been known to attack the tribe without hesitation. His anger was replaced by fear as its black body breached the surface and the small boats were pushed away. When you hunt, his father said as they both watched the well slip back below the depths, be sure to your throw is worth it. Be sure the prey is worth the lives of the men around you, for even if you bring home food, you may be coming back not the same as you were before. Or not at all. Those words had always stuck with Alden, even after all these years. The green rune flashed. Time was running out. He threw his spear and flipped the switch. The automated systems activated, and he slid out from underneath the fur. The cold bit his skin as he grabbed the controls. The engines fired up, and the computer systems locked onto the D-class, giving readings he needed to calculate their estimated jump time. Most of the pirates he had known would either take the target before or after the jump because the pilots were usually not ready for combat maneuvers. What Alden found was that pulling the ship in the middle of a jump was the ultimate way to cause disorientation. Those long hours were safe, that everyone relaxed and stepped away from their flight controls to sleep or find recreational activities. The D-class ship was setting up to jump 6 star systems away, which would take 14 hours. Through the readout, he was confused because it stopped at a planet that was labeled as a reserve, a place where no technology could be found or introduced. This, he thought, as he took control of his ship and aligned himself with their jump trajectory, was about to get interesting. The ship jumped, and so did Alden. The light around him stretched out into a tunnel as space and time bent around them. Though he couldn't see the ship in front of him anymore, the illegal technology that he had bought or had his crew craft kept track and pace. It was like throwing a spear into the dark with someone else guiding the throw. Instead of waiting too long, he activated another set of systems to disrupt their jump. He turned his chair to a set of joysticks and a visor that he leaned his forehead against to see an orange and blue targeting screen. Then he hit a few pedals with his feet, and the computer sent out the disruptive waves that fried the navigational data of the target. The targeting screen highlighted the ship as it began its emergency drop out of jump, and he started using the red joysticks to keep aligned with their jump. It took 30 minutes of work through the controls and combat against the defense systems on the other ship before everything activated. The smooth lines of the light went black, and the entire ship cabin shook and groaned as he and his target were dropped out of jump into the black patch of space. He immediately switched back to the main console, where he fired 2 massive harpoons tethered to thick cables that unspooled from the top of his ship. He watched as they punched through the weak
middle of the D class. As his engines worked on recovery, he knew that the other ship would be, at that moment, trying to reset their own to make another jump. Fired two small missiles that did a minor damage to the engines as the ship was pulled closer. The computer system started the process of analyzing blueprints and setting up docking procedures while he stood from his chair, pulled on a black shirt and then a metal vest designed to soak in any lasers that found their mark. He pulled long black and white dreads into a loose bun on his head and walked back to the airlock. The R5 unit, a small triangular shaped piece of metal made for reconnaissance, hovered over his shoulder, ready to move when the door opened. The sword at his hip was old and made of some metal that, since he took it off of a dead pirate, had never needed sharpening or repairs. He pulled it from his side and activated the Remington L-23, the latest laser pistol, and waited as his ship repositioned itself and sealed against the blast doors of the D-class. The lights went red, and he took a deep breath. Let's see what he had speared. The door hissed open, and he dove behind a row of red velvet chairs while the R5 flew through the room, taking a sweep and inventory. It clicked twice, indicating that there were only 2 passengers, before there was a loud explosion and it fell to ground in parts. Ryland, his mechanic, wouldn't be happy to hear that he would have to make another R6 unit. Whoever is up there, you owe me money for my broken robot. He peered his head up. Drop your weapons and all. He didn't get to finish. There was an older gentleman dressed in dark navy with gold accents, holding a very rudimentary shotgun. He caught sight of Alden and fired, peppering the velvet-covered seats. The expensive and almost indestructible metal took the blow. That was his 2 shots. And most D-class ships had those old double-barrel guns that would need reloading. So he took a chance, stood, and fired a single shot into the man's shoulder. He yelped and fell back. I'll count that as you dropping your weapon, he said. The other one. I know you're there. Show yourself. There was a muffled scream and some movement, but nothing else. Alden moved closer to see the pilot lying on his back with a perfect burnt circle in his uniform. Beside him was a woman gagged and bound. Her skin was a deep purple black. Her hair was stark white, and her eyes were a bright blue. She was a Yverilian. Yeah, I think that Dashbringer. Okay. He pointed the gun at the captain, who was now trying to sink through the floor and disappear. Why do you have her tied up? He growled. Talk fast. She's worth more money than any pirate has ever seen, the man stammered, and we're in love. Alden leaned forward and gently pushed the gag out of the mouth with the tip of his sword. Is this true, he said, that you're in love? No, she spat. He kidnapped me. That's it, then. He nodded and shot a single las round through the man's skull. His body went limp, and she screamed. Who are you? He sheathed his weapon, and why did he say you're worth so much? The Yverilian looked at him for a long time. It was a stare that he knew that she was sizing him up, that the mind games had already started, and he was to be careful about what she said, and what he said, or else somebody was going to end up dead. I'm nobody, she growled, and fought against her restraints. Though she demanded to be free, shouted him to come back, Alden walked toward the exit. If the girl was no one, he would have wasted precious fuel and time, things that he and his crew who were waiting for him could not afford. Wait, she finally shouted, writhing on the floor. Not writhing. I'll tell you, but you must take me with you. I'm waiting. He didn't turn around. Instead, he stared at the ceiling and noticed for the first time that there were marks from las rounds. I'm Princess Astrid Nova, she said, of the planet Amon. She said some more things, but already Alden's ears were ringing, and his face felt hot. He didn't need to be told any more than that. Anyone who was anyone knew the name of Astrid Nova. There were reports of what she looked like, but there was, until this moment, no one claiming to be her. He turned and looked at her. If he had known what he knew at the end, he might have left her to die out there in the void. Then again, he might have done what he did, which was to unleash her bindings, watch her take a small black case from the man, and then follow him aboard. For the first time since he was 13, Alden wished that maybe his father's hand would have stayed his spear, for Astrid Nova was something bigger than he was sure he could handle, especially when it came to the fate of his crew. Alright, so what I found through that is I'm a little wordy. Really wordy, right? and I'm gonna try to work on that a bit, and go from there. But overall, it's a good start. Again, I don't really have a plan, a big one. It's just kind of just gonna kind of go with it again, like I always do, and hope for the best. Um, and just just go with it like that. We'll do National Novel Writing Month 2023 for the folder name, and we'll save it as Super Space Trash Blues. Okay. Well, again, as always, thanks for watching. We do need to play some Apex, Madison. Sorry that I played without you. Go fuck yourself or something. I don't know. Colbert, again, congratulations for affiliate. That's really awesome. I'm really happy for you. And I hope to see you playing more as well. And, just overall, have a good time. So until next time, I hope all of you. Wow, that's too close. Yeah, there we go. I hope you all have a good night. No, Madison, I never plan, you dumb bitch, ever. But it's whatever. But yeah, I'll see you guys around, and I hate you all.